Okay, the palace has just revealed that King Charles had a rather expensive royal year. With the latest details, here's our royal expert, Patricia Treble. Patricia, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And let's discuss the Sovereign Grant Report just released. It shows the royal family spent 5% more year over year. So why? And just where are the royals sitting now? Let's look over their balance sheet, shall we?
And this is exactly what it is. It goes on for like about 150 pages, and it's their audited financial report. So this is for the official duties of the monarch, and it covers the maintenance of the royal palaces. And of course, it's not like you can go to Home Depot and get stuff to repair the palaces.
Right.
And they, like everyone, got hit by massive inflation. There were huge energy spikes in the UK, like gas bill doubled. But they also had some really royal expenses. So they had Platinum Jubilee, the death of the Queen, all these unexpected expenses. They also, revenues are slow to come back after they're not getting as many tourists into the palaces after the pandemic. And so they had a £20 million deficit they had to make up, sizable. Luckily, they had reserves from better times. They were able to plug that hole, but the king is lowering the temperature in the palaces.
Is this true? They're adjusting like we all would the thermostat to save some money?
They are adjusting the thermostats, and he's famous. He's like, put on another sweater. And the pool at Buckingham Palace that the staff use is apparently chilly now. But also, you're merging the Queen's and his household, so there will certainly be fewer staff. You'll be able to save efficiencies, as I think the business people call it. Okay. So. Not good news, though.
Speaking of residences, we hear Harry and Meghan have officially left Frogmore Cottage.
This makes me sad. It's kind of an end of an era. I mean, they moved in 2019, basically really spent very little time there. But it's their last remaining base in the UK. So they have, no base. They have no relationship with the family. I mean, it shows they weren't invited to Scotland for this is Hollywood Week in Scotland. All the senior royals are up there, and they are not invited. And it marks the end of an era, I think.
Mm-hmm. And how does this actually happen? What makes it official?
Well, exactly. You're like, do you hand back the keys and stuff like that? I'm sure there are people who talk to people and who deal with this. I don't think you have an inspection to make sure that the kitchen is clean or you don't get your cleaning deposit back. I don't think that's the way it works.
Yeah, that's one of those my people will call your people.
Exactly.
Okay, July 1st was not only Canada Day, but it also marks the halfway part, if you will, the halfway mark of the royal work year. And while expenses are up, appearances are down. You've crunched the numbers on this.
I've crunched the numbers. So this is one of the things I'm geeky that way. Excel is my friend. They're down 7% this year compared to the same time last year. Now, there's a few. One obvious thing is the Queen is no longer working. She did about 200 engagements a year. But you also have the senior royals aren't doing as many overseas engagements. So William and Kate basically have done no big overseas tours since the accession. I mean, they hopped over to Boston for a little bit for the Earthshot Prize, but that was it. And we're expecting to see a lot in the fall. But if you compare it to 2019, the last time pre-pandemic, you had 15 working royals. The engagements are down 31%. So the king has a slimmed down royal family, but now he's got to figure out how to live up to the Queen's famous axiom, as I said, you must be seen to be believed.
Well, but what's interesting as well, remember the reception or lack thereof of William and Kate when they went to the Caribbean?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they've got to figure it out. I mean, the coronation kind of threw everything, I think, threw all the schedules off, and you got to figure out, but where do you go? Do you go to realm countries? Britain has its own issues with foreign countries. They want to be able to fly the flag. The Crown wants to be able to fly the flag. Do you go to a Commonwealth country? Kenya is being bandied around. We'll see.
All right, you mentioned the coronation a moment ago. Second coronation about to take place tomorrow in Scotland for King Charles.
Now, this is not like a full-on, you're not putting a crown on a head, but there will be a crown. So it is, there will be a people's procession, a royal procession. You're going to have a fly past. You're going to have a balcony appearance. The King and Queen, William and Kate will be there, maybe some other members of the royal family. A little more informal, like let's, tone it down just a little bit. But you will have, the highlight is going to be when the King is presented with what are called the Honours of Scotland. So the crown from the 1500s, a sceptre from the 1400s, and you have a new great sword of state. So the old one's too fragile, so they made a new one. They called it the Elizabeth, after the late Queen. It is massive. They don't swords of state apparently just have to be massive. If you remember during the coronation, Penny Mordaunt had the great sword of state and the coronation. She was the big meme. This one is also going to be held by a woman. Her name is Dame Catherine Granger, and she is a former Olympic rower. So I think she should be able to handle the weight.
Yes. That looks like William Wallace's sword. They make big swords in Scotland.
Massive.
Oh, wow. Okay, finally, we got to talk Wimbledon. We showed some pictures of Kate showing up.
Yep. And this is not just, she's a fan. She loves tennis, but she is the patron of the, and I've got to get this right, the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club. They host Wimbledon. So that's why she's there. So you're going to see her a lot. And she did this wonderful video with Roger Federer a little earlier.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. So they were a salute to the ball boys and girls. There are 300 of them who take part in this thing. And Kate has a great serve, but apparently not quite good at following the rules on how to be a good ball boy and girl.
All right.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the video, it's online. It's worth checking out.
It's worth checking.
Patricia, thanks as always. Good to see you this morning.
My pleasure.